Hi, so today I wanted to talk about a topic that I think causes quite a lot of anxiety for a lot of new vegans, and that's eating out in restaurants. So, reality is, it's not as bad as you might think, and if you're kind of friendly and you talk to the staff politely in the restaurants, then normally it's very easy to customize the food that you want. Just because you want to leave something off, it's not a big deal. If you go in there with some bad attitude about them not having vegan options, then you're probably not going to endear yourself to them a lot, and they're probably going to think you're a bit of a vegan asshole. But I've never really had a problem myself. Normally, places have vegetarian options quite often, but I find that those are not always the best ones to try and customize because they tend to compensate for not having meat by putting a shed load of dairy into the dishes. And if you've got something that's been baked in cheese, then the chances are they're not going to be able to leave that off the dish. So if you look at the normal part of the menu with the meat on it, you can often find things like spaghetti and meatballs, for example, and you can ask them to just leave out the meatballs. If you're going out with a group of people and you might be feeling anxious or concerned about having to ask for your food to be customised when you get to the restaurant, one of the best things to do is to check the menu online and firstly see if there's anything that's already vegan that you know you can pick without any problem. If there isn't anything there, then call ahead to the restaurant, explain that you'd like something without animal products, and the chances are that they'll be able to prepare something for you ahead of time. And then at least you're going to avoid that situation where you get to the restaurant with your friends and you end up in a debate with the staff about what they can cook you and what you can eat. So being prepared is definitely the best option. There have been the odd occasions where somebody has had a bit of a chip on their shoulder when I've asked them about the contents of some of the dishes. But I have reverted in those cases to telling them I have an allergy just because I don't want to get in any kind of conflict with them and I don't want them putting something in my food that I really don't want to eat. So generally most servers, if you tell them you're allergic to something, they're not going to question that because they certainly don't want to get into trouble. If you were to eat something and you were allergic, then obviously you're going to end up being ill and they're going to end up getting a load of hassle about it. Now, I used to do that more when I was first vegan. I don't feel the need to do that now. I don't feel the need to have to explain myself. But I think it can be useful on occasions. Normally, I would just rather tell people that I'm vegan politely and ask them for their help. If you ask people to help you, then they're generally pretty keen to do that. They want a good tip at the end of the meal, let's face it. So the last thing that they want to do is to start being argumentative and causing some kind of bad feeling between them and their customers. There are certain types of restaurants that have vegan food anyway. So I generally find that Indian restaurants are very good because in a lot of areas of India, they do tend to eat vegetable-based dishes. Also, Italian restaurants tend to do things like pasta with tomato sauce, things like arrabbiatas. You can easily get those in a vegan form. You can also ask for pizza without cheese on. They often make the pizza fresh, so all they're going to do is not put the grated cheese on the top. And you'd be surprised how much of a non-event it is for the staff to do that for you. They're not interested, they just do as you ask basically. They're not going to make any judgment on you. You're going to pay the same amount for the dish anyway, and hopefully because they've done as you've asked, then you're going to be happy to return to the restaurant again. My favourite ever sort of food is Indian. I'm very lucky to have a good restaurant quite close to my house that has a very big selection of vegetable-based dishes on the menu, many of which are vegan by design. I don't have to customise them from something that contains meat and tell them to leave things out. The dishes are designed in that way so I can easily pick something from the menu and it's going to taste great. They have an allergy list so I can check what's in there, and I've also checked with them that they use vegetable-based ghee rather than animal fat. And I'm pretty sure that they do because I've seen the empty cartons outside the back of the restaurant. You might think that a kebab shop is a vegan's worst nightmare when you consider that they have those spindles full of horrible, greasy, spinning flesh. But actually, one of my favourite dishes is falafel, and that's something that you can often find in a kebab shop. The one that I went to here actually sells a good range of salads. Most of them have cheese as standard, but you can ask for that to be left off quite easily and it's not a problem. They also often put yogurt sauce on there, but again, just ask for the spicy sauce or ketchup and not the yogurt sauce and you're good to go. The portion sizes are pretty big, the food's nice and fresh, and I really can't fault it. The other good thing about a kebab shop is the food's often really cheap, and you definitely can't say that vegan options are too expensive in this case. Of course, now that vegan food's getting more popular, there are many restaurants, such as this one, which was Las Iguanas, that actually cater very well for vegans and vegetarians. In this case, they had a dedicated menu. It was vegetarian and vegan, but the vegan options were clearly marked, so that was very good. I managed to get a starter, a really nice main course, and a dessert, and it was a very enjoyable experience. One of the most challenging types of restaurants to eat vegan in are those that serve traditional Spanish food. It's not to say that in Spain you can't find loads of vegan options, but the ones that really do serve the traditional dishes tend to be predominantly based on things like piglet and lamb. So it's not the easiest of environments for a vegan to find something in. On entering the restaurant, I was confronted by a vegetable and wondered what I might get here, but I soon saw the traditional dish of roasted body parts and my hopes were dashed.
Well, there's my food then. Yeah.
However, in even the most adverse conditions for a vegan, there's always some option, and in this case I was able to get some traditional Spanish patatas bravas, which is basically chopped up fried potatoes covered in a spicy ketchup type sauce, and also a mixed salad which had lettuce, tomato, onion, asparagus. I had to ask them to leave off the egg and the tuna, but it was a huge salad and at least I had something to eat and all was not lost.